Hi, how are you? Hope you're well. My name is Olie with one L. Today I was thinking of showing you two artworks I made using mixed media, mixed fiber arts. Let me know in the comments if you know what this style would be called, because I am looking to potentially creating more artworks like this, and when I showcase them online I would like to use the proper name for them. But without further ado, here is the main piece. You will see a lot of the steps of me creating specifically this one, and then I got so inspired that I created a second one, and it's this cute butterfly. So as you can see, some elements are crocheted and some elements are sewn on my new sewing machine. Well, I got it at the end of April when my birthday was, so it's not mega new, but it's still a new skill for me. I am using here shadow boxes to allow this 3D effect, so everything is not squished by the glass but rather just sits inside and creates this little multi-dimensional scene. This first one was inspired by my recent visit to Bath, where I've encountered very cute sheep, hence we have a sheep here. However, narratives and storytelling is something that I'm interested in, that I used to specialize in professionally. So of course I had to create a little story here. As you can see, there is a big, bad, cheeky wolf here waiting on our sheep. Who knows what will happen, because there is also a bee here that potentially will attack our wolf and prevent them from attacking the sheep. It's up to interpretation. The second one is inspired by, those entomology pieces where they pin an insect like a butterfly, for example, but this is, of course, is cruelty-free. It's just a crocheted butterfly, and I will link down the pattern that I used, but instead of 3 rows, I will warn you, I only used 2 because the box is tiny. 3 rows wouldn't fit in this tiny box, but I have bigger boxes as well, so I know for a fact I'll make more butterflies because it was so much fun and so easy. But in this video, I'm only focusing on these 2. Hobbycraft had a sale, and I've ordered an insane number of shadow box frames. For example, I have 3 of this size, which is 9 by 9 centimeters. My idea is to try mixed fabric art, like mixed textile art, and I want to combine crochet and sewing together and create little scenes inside the frames. And I'll start obviously with the smallest size, and my first idea is to create a simple yet quirky landscape with a house on a hill, with a sheep just being on this pasture in front of the house, and a wolf gazing at the sheep from the bushes, something like that. So I know that I want to crochet the house, then I want to crochet a sheep, probably with one of the puff stitches, and then I'll crochet a wolf to the best of my ability. Everything that's like grass and the sky will be out of fabric that I have on hand, and I will also use embroidery for, we'll see, maybe flowers. However, I do have a fabric that has a flower pattern on it, but I also need to embroider the windows and the door on the house, I think, and maybe some smoke from the chimney. But yeah, wish me luck. I'll start on the first elements of the scene now. Here are, by the way, the colors that I chose for my house, very original, a white house with a red roof. And I'll be using a 2.5mm hook because I want the house to be a bit further in the distance, so I need to make it smaller. However, the yarn I'm going to use is asking for 3.5mm hook, but we'll see. My tension is usually tighter, I noticed, so I hope it will be on my side this time as well. So I still need to weave in the ends, but I thought I could walk you through, even though it's very self-explanatory. So here I have the base of the house, then I made it like a triangle roof. That sounded like a dog barking, which is funny because I have a wolf here, but maybe only to me. Anyway, so the house is here, and then the roof is a triangle, but I'll have to see like which way I want it to be, and I'll sew it into place. We'll see how it will go. Then I have the wolf here. I struggled with it. Wait a second, like this. I struggled with it for a bit, but I think it will make sense once I add embroidery. And this is our shape. I think it's so cute. Looks a bit like a maggot right now, but again, with added details, it will all make sense. And I think I'll keep the house like to the side and the shape here, and in the foreground we'll have our wolf. To be fair, I need to weave in the ends and then just create the background with the fabrics. The pants are on, the hair is up. Never mind the water stain. This girl means business because sewing is still new to me, so it's very serious. However, today it should be very easy. I'll be using this for the grass because it already has beautiful flowers on it. And then I'll be using the infamous bee. It's only if you've seen my previous video, but still, this bee fabric. You'll see I'll probably like end up getting one bee because the square needs to be 9 by 9 centimeters, so it's relatively small. But first, let me show you my equipment. So here is my beautiful machine. I'll need to, of course, rewind the bobbin with an appropriate color for sewing. So here is my basket with all of my sewing stuff, with a cute Fluttershy skull panda. When you open it, oh, it's a treasure trove. It has all the essentials, so it's mostly thread and such. And then you can also store bigger items such as scissors inside of it. Very handy, like it a lot, and it looks like a greenhouse, which is super adorable. I realized that I need a different shade of green also for the bush and maybe for one more hill in the background to give more depth to the scene. And then I'll be using this beautiful fabric scrap. I bought it as a bundle at Lucy and Yak in Brighton. Already have sewn with it. Very nice material, very velvety, but I think it's like a flannel. Yeah, so I'll use this one as well. And here is my final layout, I think. So you can see that I decided against the second hill, and we'll just go with a bush here, not to over complicate the scene, so it's still readable. Then we have, yeah, the wolf here in the bushes. The honeybee is almost landing on our wolf. Then we have our sheep on the pasture and this house here. But first I'll start with assembling these parts. I need to remember to leave a gap here to place the wolf later. Or actually, I could also sew the wolf to the fabric and then attach this top layer. Here's how it's going. As always in a creative process, things changed a bit and I added this trim I had as a background bush or like greenery behind the wolf. I thought it would make it pop better. However, a perfectionist in me can't leave the back looking like this and definitely cannot leave the edges fraying. So I am going to add a backing by, having front to front. Sew around, leave an opening, turn it out and have it nice and neat. So here is my little pocket and now I need to iron it. If someone would have told me that like a year ago, that I would iron daily, I would have laughed and laughed and laughed. I used to not know where our iron was. Now I do, very much do. I even selected it because, yeah, I'm steaming and ironing every single day, because if you're working with something that's like double layered, you really want to iron out the seams to actually make it, even and nice and pressed. And yeah, it just feels way more professional if you actually do the ironing part. So I'm going to do it now before I continue with hand sewing and hand embroidery of the rest of the scene. Yeah, to the ironing board I go. No worries, there will be a close-up of the finished diorama in a bit, but right now I would like to show you the process of creating the butterfly one, which was mostly crochet. So as you can see, I crocheted a background with just single crochets in a square and used the ruler to match it exactly to be 9 by 9. And here are the colors that I used for the butterfly itself. I really wanted it to be colorful, fun, but at first I thought I would manage to create all 3 rows. However, that didn't end up happening, as you know, but I am very happy with how the butterfly turned out. I love the colors and I thought it would look so gorgeous on this purple. Again, this swatch I got from Lucy and Yak, and I blanket stitched the background to the first layer, which was our crocheted background, and that was honestly it. Then I just needed to attach the butterfly. Again, I just stitched it to the backgrounds, and yeah, very fun little project, very cute, and I highly recommend. Once again, the pattern can be found in the description down below. I'm super happy with how this turned out. They're so cute. I will definitely be making more in different sizes. I did secure them with a double-sided tape to the back of the frame, because otherwise they would fall inside the frame, mostly because I miscalculated a bit, and they are a tiny bit smaller than they should be. With this one, however, I had more luck because it's crochet background, so I could stretch it. I still secured it with the tape just to be mega sure, but I could also have avoided it because it stays put quite well just after I stretched out the background a bit. And this is it. Hope you got inspired, maybe even learned something new. Let me know in the comments which artwork you prefer, which one would you like maybe to have at home or recreate. I'll see you very soon, and we'll do something cozy together. Take care!